All right, let's dive right into this explainer. I want you to imagine a predator over 18 meters long with teeth literally the size of your hand, making even the largest great white shark look like an absolute baby in comparison. I mean, we're not talking science fiction here. This was a real, living titan that absolutely dominated our oceans for a staggering 20 million years. And then, it just vanished. Poof, gone. No giant space asteroid, no apocalyptic volcano eruption. So what actually happened? Today, we're going to investigate a colossal mystery, how a predator that ruled the seas for 23 million years vanished without a trace, with no sudden catastrophic event to blame. Now, what's really interesting here is how we have to look at this. We aren't just looking at an extinction, we are basically cracking open a cold case. We're searching for the real culprit who eliminated the ultimate apex predator roughly 3.6 million years ago. Because look, a creature at the absolute top of the food chain doesn't just disappear into thin air, right? So today, we're going to act as paleontological detectives to figure out who or what took down the undisputed king of the ocean. Section 1, the ocean's greatest king. So to kick off our investigation, we really have to wrap our heads around the absolute sheer scale of our victim here, the Otudis megalodon. It first hit the scene about 23 million years ago, and to understand how it died, we absolutely must first comprehend how it lived. A massive 2025 study bringing together 29 different paleontologists confirmed something truly terrifying. This giant reached up to 24.3 meters in length and weighed an unbelievable 94 tons. Just to put that into perspective, that is even longer than today's massive whale shark. We are literally talking about 94 tons of pure muscle, teeth, and hunting perfection. And the size difference really drives it home. The megalodon was roughly 4 times the size of today's great white. 4 times! This wasn't just a big fish, okay? It was the absolute largest apex predator in the oceanic food web. Its daily menu was made up of whales, huge fish, and probably other sharks. For 23 million years, it reigned entirely unchallenged as a whale-eating king. Yet right around 3.6 million years ago, its fossils just stop. They completely disappear from the geological record. How on earth does history just erase its strongest creature? Section 2. Is it still alive? Okay, first things first. We need to immediately eliminate our first and probably most popular internet suspect, the crazy idea that the megalodon is actually still out there, just hiding in the deep, uncharted parts of the ocean. Let's just debunk this right now. You guys might remember that infamous fake sonar documentary back in 2013 claiming a massive shark was detected deep underwater. Yeah, it took the internet by storm. But the scientific consensus is absolutely crystal clear. There is zero evidence it was totally fictional. Biologically speaking, there is no way a 24-meter, insanely energy-hungry predator hides forever in the deep ocean without eating literally everything in sight and being detected. They simply require way too much food to just vanish off the radar. So that suspect is dead. The real question isn't where is it hiding, but how did it actually die? Section 3. Did the cold kill it? So, with the survival myth totally busted, let's look at our next major suspect, global climate change. Now, for a really long time, this was the go-to theory, and it seemed perfect. Around 3 million years ago, a crucial waterway between North and South America closed up, forming what we now call the Isthmus of Panama. When that happened, ocean currents completely shifted, plunging the Earth into a massive global cooling phase. Since the megalodon loved warm tropical waters and used them for their nurseries, the logical jump was that the cold literally froze them out of their homes. Sounds like an open and shut case, right? Well, not quite. A really groundbreaking study in 2016 completely flipped this theory on its head. Researchers found that the megalodon's geographic spread didn't actually expand much during the warm periods, and more importantly, it didn't shrink drastically during the cold ones either. This proved that a drop in temperature alone wasn't the sole murderer here. It survived the cold way better than we initially thought. So, if it wasn't the cold, what exactly was it? Section 4. The warm-blooded twist. This brings us to a massive, total game-changer of a plot twist, discovered by a UCLA research team just recently in 2023. By looking really closely at the fossilized teeth of the megalodon using an insanely advanced geochemical technique called clumped isotope thermometry, scientists were able to unlock the hidden secrets of the megalodon's internal biology. They literally managed to measure how warm the animal was, millions of years after it died. How wild is that? And the results were absolutely jaw-dropping. The Megalodon wasn't your typical cold-blooded fish. It was mesothermic. Basically, it was partially warm-blooded, kind of like today's great white and mako sharks. Its internal body temperature was significantly warmer than the surrounding ocean water. Now, evolutionarily speaking, this was an incredible advantage. It gave the shark explosive speed, the ability to dive deep, and just terrifying hunting power. But as we're about to see, this massive biological upgrade came with an incredibly steep and ultimately fatal biological cost. Section 5. The missing food supply. So, what was that massive biological cost? It was the absolute unrelenting need for immense daily calories just to keep that gigantic warm-blooded engine running. And this leads us straight to the real culprit. Between 3.6 and 2.6 million years ago, the ocean's food web was undergoing some drastic changes. Many species of large baleen whales, which were basically the megalodon's primary prey, were either declining or migrating out toward freezing, icy waters. But the megalodon couldn't follow them. It still absolutely needed those warm waters for breeding and for its nurseries, so it was trapped. You've got a 94-ton, warm-blooded giant requiring massive amounts of daily energy, but its food is just packing up and leaving. This triggered a devastating chain reaction, a fatal caloric deficit that led to slow, widespread starvation. The researchers summed up this tragic irony perfectly with this quote: "If prey gets smaller and the body needs the same energy to maintain temperature, an imbalance is created that cannot last." It wasn't just one dramatic, apocalyptic event. It was a slow, multi-layered collapse. Changing ocean currents, fluctuating temperatures, a premium, warm-blooded body demanding way too much fuel, and shrinking prey. The very biological superpower that made it the undisputed king of the ocean ultimately became its fatal flaw. Literally, its own biology killed it. Section 6. A bigger unsolved mystery. Okay, so we've solved the slow, multi-layered demise of the megalodon. We know exactly how the king fell, but the fossil record reveals an even darker twist at the very end of this timeline, because the megalodon didn't die alone. Right at that exact same time, around 3.6 million years ago, an astonishing 1/3, that's 33%, of all large marine megafauna vanished entirely from the fossil record. We're talking giant sea turtles, massive ancient sea cows, and countless other species just completely wiped from history, all in the exact same geological window. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final, chilling question that paleontology is still desperately trying to answer. We know what triggered the megalodon's starvation, but what exactly happened in the ancient oceans to wipe out a full third of all massive marine life at the exact same time? The ocean still holds its deepest secrets, and this cold case, well, it might just be cracking open. Keep that in mind the next time you look out at the water.